Hello, I'm the Crazy Critic. I do it all so you don't have to. A lot of people are probably going to have this same question, and a lot of people would normally give me this kind of look, and it's like, well, they ask me, um, why would you hate Paw Patrol Creepypasta fanfiction? Um, well, that's actually quite easy when you think about it. Because of all that you could list in such a thing. So, there are three fanfics that I absolutely don't like. And one of them is the worst out of all three of them. So, there are three fanfics of Paw Patrol, creepypastas specifically, that I really don't like. One of them is Monkey's Paw, the second one's Blood Moon Massacre, and the third one's Final Mission. And the Final Mission is the worst one. A lot of people um, tend to look at um, the monkey's paw and think, well, what's wrong with it? Well, I could find many things wrong with it. A lot of people would criticize me for my opinion, but again, it's not as bad as Final Mission, but it's certainly bad. So, let me just go ahead and list my complaints for why I don't like Monkey's Paw. First off, Monkey's Paw has shipping that I really don't agree with, which a lot of people tend to complain about. But then again, it's fan fiction, so I can't really argue there. Oh well. So, the other thing that I don't like about Monkey's Paw is that they go really, really, overkill with some of the stuff they're talking about. They go way too overkill, and it's disturbing. Like, think of like this. Sorry. Think of this. In one scene in Monkey's Paw, Marshall's bitten in the paw. Okay, I understand that. You want to go with the plot and everything with Monkey's Paw. Then he's bitten in the neck. It's like, okay, you want to go a little bit overkill. And then he's bitten in the crotch, which is like, okay, that's just cruel. It's like Monkey's Paw tries to be cruel and really shocking without, giving it a context. Um, and the fact that the main character's Chase and that he's doing all this, it's pretty sad. Because Chase is a innocent, smart, unique pup who is now placed as basically a killer on accident. Yup. And the very last chapter, before it got deleted because of, incident, um, there was a chapter in which, well, I reviewed a chapter in which, Sweetie was basically, pissing on the graves and everything like that, and then she got, munched up and, all split into pieces and everything like that by zombies. And I figured out it was zombies, too. Because they made another chapter where it ended with Sky's zombie-like expression, smiling, and basically killing Zuma off. Oh boy, I can't wait. Sarcastically, I can't wait to see how it ends. Seriously. I want it to end, and I want it done. I, we already know what's gonna happen in the end anyway. Chase is gonna die, and that's it. That's all that's gonna happen. I really want to just have it end already. I want to read it, and I want to end it. But yeah, with Monkey's Paw, it's way more realistic. That's the word. It has court stuff. It has suicide. It's bad, but in my opinion, it's the least bad out of all three of them. Now, Blood Moon Massacre. It is definitely bad, but it's probably worse than Monkey's Paw, but it's not as bad as the final mission. Now, why do I say that? It's because of the fact that um, that that Blood Moon Massacre was based around like something like the Halloween episode. It was based around that. And if anyone basically goes, I'm never watching that episode again because of stories like this, it really irritates me. It's because of the fact that this kind of thing is fan fiction, and we just read them to get scared of. And honestly, it's not really scary that it's good or anything like that. It's scary that it's bad. And that's what most of the Paw Patrol fanfics I've talked about are. It's just, they're so scary that they're bad. They're not so scary that they're good. There's a difference between being so scary that it's good and being so scary that it's bad. Take Michael Myers from Halloween. He was so scary that it's good. Because of the fact that we never knew who Michael Myers is, he doesn't go down, and he just kills. We also find Freddy Krueger so scary that he's good because of the fact that he kills people while they're asleep. That's a pretty terrifying concept. It's the same thing with Paw Patrol Creepypastas. I would love Paw Patrol Creepypastas if they were so good, if they were so scary that they were good. But these are so scary that they're bad because of the fact that they want to be as shocking as possible, and they never give a context as to why. They're just there because, horror. Blood Moon Massacre did this a lot. It showed a ton of shocking elements and was so scary that it's bad. Because of the fact that they had, scary deaths. Even scarier deaths than in Monkey's Paw. With Monkey's Paw, it was a snake bite, hanging, and zombies. With this, it's more realistic. It's scary. I would be more terrified to imagine kids, thinking of their favorite characters from Paw Patrol, getting their heads decapitated off and having their heads hang, getting their throats slit, getting burned in a furnace, getting pecked by a bunch of crows, getting decapitated, getting stabbed through the gut, getting eaten by a shark. It's horrible. But why do I like Blood Moon Massacre more than I do Final Mission? Because Blood Moon Massacre at least, had the entire town of Adventure Bay as a part of, on the Paw Patrol side. And they actually were innocent victims. And they were, still affected by the moon anyway. Oh yeah, and another death from Blood Moon Massacre. Getting cut up into pieces by a helicopter. No. It's just so shocking that it's bad. Ed, I have no idea, but I feel like people just write these creepypastas to give people nightmares. Well, Monkey's Paw does somehow give me nightmares. Well, I haven't had nightmares of Monkey's Paw, but, whenever you think of Monkey's Paw, you would think of, scary stuff, hanging and everything. That's terrifying. And getting eaten by zombies. That's terrifying. And at first, I thought that the end of that one chapter, it's it was all fake or whatever, or it was all a nightmare that Zuma was going through. But no, it was real, and he is now dead. So whatever. I guess that's a big smack to the face. But Blood Moon Massacre, I like it more than Final Mission because Blood Moon Massacre had at least character moments. It had character moments between Chase and Sky. It had character moments between people like Zuma and Marshall, and Rocky and Katie, and it's hey, we actually made them into people, and we actually understand them more. But no, but they still die. But whatever. I really hope Monkey's Paw doesn't end like an everybody dies situation, because that's pretty much how Blood Moon Massacre and Final Mission both end. Even though Final Mission's the worst. But you gotta be honest, with Blood Moon Massacre, I really like the Skase moment in there. Personally, I felt sad about the fact that the Skase moments and everything were short-lived in Blood Moon Massacre because of horror. And you want to kill off every character because, you gotta go horror. But when it came to horror in Blood Moon Massacre, It took a ton of horror cliches. Like, it had the, like, horror cliche that it basically thinks that it's like, hey, we might actually get a happy ending, but no, you end up killing them in the end, and it was all fake, and everybody dies in the end. That's pretty much what happens in Blood Moon Massacre. In the end with Blood Moon Massacre, everybody pretty much dies until it's Rocky left. Rocky gets tricked by Bloodbeard into embracing him and gets stabbed in the gut, dies. Bloodbeard disappears, and the Blood Moon is gone. Oh boy. Yeah, I really don't like it. I don't like Blood Moon Massacre, but do I have to say it's scarringly bad? No. Is it still bad? Yes. Is it still scary bad? Yes. But is it bad enough to scar your entire childhood for life? No. People can get over it very fast. Just as long as they don't think about Blood Moon Massacre, it's fine. And plus, that can't happen. And there's a lot of stupid coincidences that happen in Blood Moon Massacre that I hope doesn't happen anywhere. That it's like, hey, when we were rescuing the merpups, the crashed ship belonged to Bloodbeard. I was like, how's that possible? Even Rocketolaf 3000 was like, how's that possible? Oh, sorry. Gotta, like, zoom in and to see my face. There we go. And now we get to the one that I hate the most. The final mission. I do not like the final mission, and I don't like its existence, but I gotta be honest, Shadow Reader is an amazing reader, and I like him doing the reading, after all. But when it came to the entire point of Final Mission, like the sound effects, they were so realistically horrifying. It was scarringly bad. I probably would have lost it. I was like, no, you cannot do that. You scare me. The reason why I hate Final Mission more than I do Blood Moon Massacre or the Monkey's Paw is because the Monkey's Paw had at least, like, a paw that did something, or with Blood Moon Massacre, a ship. With Blood Moon Massacre and Monkey's Paw, they were basically stuff that they couldn't control. And it just led to them doing this stuff in the first place. And it all led to a very bad ending anyway. This, however, we don't know what caused it. And we don't know what caused it, and we don't have any idea whatsoever. But we still are gonna kill him off anyway. Ha! Okay. With Final Mission, I really don't like the concept of it. They're basically telling how Paw Patrol and the police and Adventure Bay Police Department, Officer Michael, are okay and everything like that. And then what happens is basically this, idea of of ridicule. And it's basically where they are all happy and everything like that, and then one day everything changed scenario. They're looking for the pups. Rocky and Zuma are both dead. Marshall has his legs torn from his body, and then he dies. And he's able to get rescued by ambulance, but he dies. Then Chase and the rest are put in a cave and everything like that, and are trapped. Everyone's dead except for Chase. Michael gets Chase out of there, stopping the monster, and it disappears. And then it basically leads to a bunch of stuff involving a satanic cult that I'm not going to spoil. That's for Rocketolaf's live stream, as me and him are going to take on this thing. Oh boy, I really don't want to, but we're going to have to. We're going to save our Paw Patrol friends once and for all. So, what's the other thing? Oh yeah. In the end, everything goes bad. Everyone dies, including Everest and Tracker, which sucks, even though they were on the side of the cult. The demon is defeated by rubbing the crucifix all over the pentagram, which is destroying the demon. The cave is blocked in. Chase dies from the stab wound, and he's put into a grave. And Mike hangs himself by the ceiling fan. That's it. what kind of stupid ending is that? It's like you had a... It's like with Monkey's Paw and Blood Moon Massacre, it's like there was no way you could have gotten a hopeful ending. They were all screwed whether you wanted them to win or not. They were all screwed, and they were all pretty much going to lead to their deaths. But this one, you could have had a hopeful ending for Mike. Because of the fact that Mike could have, moved on from the scenario, but nope, you killed him anyway by hanging him. 2. Hanging someone is scary. I don't like the reason why Blood Moon Massacre is probably the least scary of all 3 is because it doesn't include, suicide. Anytime you put suicide in a horror film or a horror movie, horror film and movie are the same thing. Horror film and a horror story, it's terrifying. Because it's like you're making this so much more uncomfortable for the audience/viewer. At least with Blood Moon Massacre, no one, killed themselves. Meanwhile, with Monkey's Paw, Skye killed herself by hanging, and in Final Mission, my Officer Michael killed himself by hanging. It's like, Jesus. There were a lot more scary deaths in Blood Moon Massacre, but I really thought the deaths and the atmosphere were more terrifying in Final Mission, because the sound effects the Shadow Reader uses in Final Mission are realistically scary and realistic. And it's like, no, you can't do that. And why Final Mission is scarier, or the scariest, and will probably be the scariest, is because of the fact that you can visualize what's happening, and you're pretty much groaning and cringing at every single thing. It's like, why? And it's like, who in the right demented mind, wrote this? And, of course, Shadow Reader doesn't like Paw Patrol. I get that. And I also get why, other people, like ThoraxFan123, who wrote the Final Mission, as well as, the other stuff what is it? I don't know. Hold on. Stuff like, I lost it. Stuff like but you get where I'm going. Like with Final Mission, the sound effects are realistic, and they're more terrifying, and they're more screwed up than ever. They're not, stop it. They're not, in the scenario where, it's not the scenario where, God, stop turning off controller. It's one of those specific times, where, it's like you can feel the pain, and you can see the aftermath, and it's terrifying. I never knew what Ethan was mentioning when he could visualize every part of the Final Mission or whatever, but now I do, and it's like, yikes. It's like someone out there was so hateful of Paw Patrol that they just decided to write something where all of them die, and especially Officer Michael. Wait a minute. That's another thing I'm really confused about. If the guy who wrote the Final Mission hates Paw Patrol, then why couldn't he have killed off all the Paw Patrol and not, just Michael, and left Michael alive? But no, you killed off Michael. Okay then. So, yeah, in my opinion, I absolutely hate Final Mission. It is probably the worst thing ever that I will ever do. It is the worst thing that I have ever read, and probably will be the worst thing I ever read. Until, something comes out. Where, just random stuff happens. But when it comes to concepts, the only thing that I'm not going to ever like is basically this one scenario where, they introduce very adult concepts such as, sexual harassment, or, I don't ever want to go in those routes. Like, the stuff that, like, a Serbian film or anything like that goes to. And it's like, no. Who in the right mind thinks of those concepts? But those concepts are real, and that's what sucks. The reason why I hate Paw Patrol creepypasta fanfictions like those three are because they're so scary that they're bad. They use a ton of scary stuff, and that's just what makes them so bad. They use adult themes like satanic cults and suicide and swear words just to get a point across. And it's not funny. It's not funny, and it's not funny, and you're not scaring people to the point where it's fun. Well, you're not scaring me to the point where it's fun. You're scaring me to the point where I don't like you. Halloween was something so scary that it was fun. That's why people like Halloween and why Halloween's a classic. People like Black Christmas because it's so scary that it's fun. That's the point of horror stuff, is you're supposed to get so scared that it's fun. And that's why I like horror stuff. And that's why I continue to read Paw Patrol creepypastas to this day. But when you do stuff like Monkey's Paw and Blood Moon Massacre and Final Mission, you're just making me say, hey, I really don't want to read you anymore. And you're not getting anything out of this. You're not getting a potential like out of me. It's like, okay. I even put a comment on Shadow Reader's Paw Patrol Part 3 Final Mission review, and I said, while I hate the story, I think your reading is good. Because of Shadow Reader's foretell of this story, it makes it good and bad. It's good because Shadow Reader can make it scary, and how he can use real life sound effects to, draw people into the story. But still, it's so bad because of how it's written, and it's uncomfortable and all that. And it's the same kind of thing with Blood Moon Massacre. I like remember all the videos that Rocketolaf does where he watches the video instead of reads the fanfic, because of the fact that he wants to be drawn into it and wants to, react to it. It's something that I completely would do, and I understand that too. But the point is, I really don't like Paw Patrol fanfictions like these that, try to be shocking so that they can be edgy, and that they scare people to the point where you don't want to read them anymore. For people who want me to just rank all three stupid creepypastas, I would say Blood Moon Massacre would be in dead last, being the least scariest. Because, it's typical horror. Then I'd put Monkey's Paw at number 2 because while it may have scary deaths and realistic scenarios, it's not something that could be controlled, and they were doomed to go in this type of story. And the worst one, number 1, would be Final Mission, because it is terrifying, and it could have been controlled, but no, it's entirely mean-spirited, and it's very terrifying to the point where I just can't. So that's why I absolutely hate Paw Patrol fanfiction. Well, Paw Patrol creepypasta fanfiction. Why would I say that I hated Paw Patrol fanfiction? I love Paw Patrol fanfiction. Some of them are even good. Like Marshall Gone Missing is good. In fact, the person who wrote Marshall Gone Missing is the same writer who wrote Monkey's Paw. And that just makes me disappointed, because Havoc is an awesome writer. If he can make stuff like Marshall Gone Missing, there's no excuse for Monkey's Paw. The person who wrote Blood Moon Massacre, his name is Insomniac. And Insomniac, it's like you used every horror cliche imaginable. You can't really get any sympathy out of me, and you can't really get anything out of me. So, oh well. And I still don't know who wrote Final Mission. I don't know if it's Shadow Reader. I don't know if it's ThoraxFan123. I need to figure it out. But it's stupid. It's horrendous. They're all three of them are horrendous. And I hope we get good creepypastas soon. I have read funny creepypastas, Like someone tried to put Paw Patrol and Slenderman together, and I just thought it was funny. It was so cringingly bad that I just laughed. I still love the way I still love the way that in that one story, in that Slenderman story, all Slenderman does to Chase is just like, just start overfeeding Chase junk food by slamming it right down his throat. That was just funny to me. I'm like, wait, what? That's all he does? Just shove junk food down his gullet and it makes him fat? That's stupid. That would have been a more amusing story than the actual Slenderman movie. Anyway, but seriously, go check it out. It's so cringingly bad. You'll get a good chuckle out of it. And you may actually be very happy with the ending. I like the ending. It's very funny. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. I just want to know how it'd be in real life if Slenderman just, like, instead of, like, killed people or, like, made them go insane, that they killed themselves or, like, anything like that, that all he did was just shove junk food down their gullets and made them fat, and that was it. That would have been amusingly funny. I'd be like, I wish. But oh well. Anyway, Paw Patrol Creepypastas, like, can be good and cringingly bad, that they're so and that they're so bad that it's good. But the three that I mentioned, Monkey's Paw, Blood Moon Massacre, and Final Mission, they're just so bad that it's bad. The Paw Patrol thing with the Slender Man, it's so bad that it's good. And Marshall Gone Missing is so good that it's good. So is a fanfic I'm going to actually review sometime soon. Mission Paw Pup Save the Magic. That is so good that it's good. What Pup Save the Magic is, though, that I want to review is basically Paw Patrol and My Little Pony put together. I want to review that one because I like it. And the sequel, Royal Family, is equally as good. And when it comes to the series, like, Adventure Bay has fallen, Barkingburg has fallen, and Foggy Bottom has fallen, which is not the order. It's Adventure Bay and then Foggy Bottom and then Barkingburg. I like that series too, but it kind of adds a little bit more action to it. So I still like that fanfic, and I definitely recommend you go check it out. Anyway, Paw Patrol Creepypastas can be good, as long as you get the material right, and you understand why it'd be scary. You want to give people a chance to be so scared that it's fun, or be so scary that it's good. Like, I don't know how you do it, but just try something. Don't just scare people because you want to scare people. Scare people, but attract them into it. I know that a lot of people like Final Mission, but I don't. And Rocketolaf also doesn't, and so many other people probably don't. A lot of people on my on my channel probably don't like it either. Like, Alan says that it's bad, but he doesn't consider it the worst thing ever, and I don't either. I'm sure there's a lot worse out there. But please don't lead me to anything that's worse than the Final Mission. If you do, then I will read it, but it's going to take a lot for me to review it. But what is it about Paw Patrol Creepypastas that, like Monkey's Paw and Blood Moon Massacre and Final Mission, that just somehow make other people like it? Well, because creepypasta. Maybe it's because of the way it scares people and the way that people actually read it. I think that it's because of, like, this idea where it's so scary that people tend to enjoy it more and people tend to read it. Like, some people actually like Paw Patrol and actually like Final Mission, meanwhile I don't. I bet the main reason why I don't like Final Mission is just because of how uncomfortable it is. I'm sure people probably have a way more easier demographic than I do, but still, I don't know. I guess it's something to be edgy about. But, and for Monkey's Paw, I'm guessing it's because of, like, the scary thing of it and what could happen to Chase or what could happen to the other pups. And for Blood Moon Massacre, I think it's because of the creative deaths and the I want to know what happens next or how you're going to end it or whatever. But I found Final Mission at the absolutely most disappointing out of all of them. Like, the only funny thing in Final Mission was the situation in which Chase basically said screw them. I still think that's really funny, and that's probably the one thing in Final Mission that actually got a chuckle out of me. Other than that, I don't like Final Mission, and I don't like the other two either. And they are certainly Paw Patrol creepypastas that I would definitely shy away from. Anyway, I'm the Crazy Critic, and I do it all, so you don't have...
Chief Marcus, hang on, calm down.
What the hell? What's that? Hold on, I'll be right back. The heck? What's going on with my TV? I can't change it. What's going on? I can't change it. It's just there. What? What is going on? What's this trying to tell me? What's this trying to tell me? It's almost like it has a personal connection with me. What?
I need your help right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. I just don't.
Chief Marcus, it's okay, buddy. It's all right. What's going on? What's happening?
I mean,
Are you hurt or injured or what's going on?
Just get to the cemetery. Please, I beg you. Please, just get to the... No.
Hello? Hello? Officer Marcus? Can you hear me?
Officer Marcus!
Yes. No! One has fallen, and soon they shall all fall. But don't worry. I will give it my best to make sure everybody gets out in the end. I promise that. On my life, I will get you all out. I promise. Me and Rocket will defeat this thing, whatever it takes. But still, the sound effects are really good. We will still take it out, whatever it takes.